Hi, I'm back. Today we are going to make chicken empanadas. That's where the inspiration comes from. To be honest, instead of the typical dough that you use to surround your filling with an empanada, I'm going to use wonton wrappers, egg roll wrappers. And I like them because they're pre-made, they're easy, they fry up really nicely and crisp, and they're really delicious. So instead of calling them chicken empanadas, I might have to call them Mexican wontons. So I have the ingredients, I think, all laid out in front of me, starting with probably a couple of pounds of chicken that's been chopped. I have I usually like red peppers. These are yellow and green peppers, some jalapenos, some onion, some garlic, and spices. I have the stove going, heating up, so we'll bring it over here. Hopefully you can still see. Are we still going? Let's see. One thing I forgot to add in here, which is always very important, is oregano. And I like to use the Mexican oregano, if you can see that. I ran out of the other one, so I had to buy these little packages. So what I'm gonna do is just sprinkle some on here. Where's my spoon? Finding things. Okay, so I'm just continuing to cook this brown, not just brown it, cook it all the way through and stir as you go to get all those flavors blended. And it's coming along nicely. It's very pretty. We'll be right back. I tasted it and I just needed a little bit more salt and a little bit more of the garlic powder. It's still cooking, we're still going. I usually don't like to measure when it comes to things like spices. When I started cooking, I needed a recipe for everything in exact amounts. I think my brother is still like that, but he's a good cook otherwise. But what I learned, and I learned this from my mom, is you eventually understand what flavor each spice or seasoning brings to your dish. So once you know that and you understand what combination of spices you like, you can actually add as you go. You learn how much is too much, how much is not enough, what's the combination. Ashley just walked in and she can smell it. It's good. So it's almost cooked through. Once it cooks through, we're going to put it in this container and then I'm going to cook my little veggies. So I just took my chicken out and the juices that are in there, and I have some more oil in the same pan, so it has all the bits on the bottom. And I'll start with, and this is probably a good medium to large onion that's chopped. I like to season as I go, so a little salt, a little pepper, nothing too fancy quite yet. Gonna give it a minute, add some garlic, and add my peppers. So my onions are starting to soften. They're turning a bit translucent, so I am going to add my actual garlic. My spoon. So you know me, big heaping teaspoon, but it's more like a dinner teaspoon. And I have two big jalapenos, yellow pepper, and green pepper. If I had a red pepper, I'd be using that. Or would I have a little tiny bit of one? So, continue to cook those peppers down a little bit. I'm stirring all of that up. Keeping all of those peppers in there will hopefully help the garlic to keep from turning black. So the next step is to start to deglaze the pan a little bit. And I use whatever I have. I have right now this Prosecco, so it's gonna be a little bit sweet, but it lost all its bubbles. It's been in the fridge for a while. Oftentimes I'll just use a beer. If you had tequila, you could use tequila. So I'm just gonna add this. That's most of it. And when you deglaze, just stir, stir, and you let that reduce and bubble away. You're cooking off the alcohol and reducing the volume to concentrate the flavors. So we are going to let that cook for a little bit before we add anything else. So that is continuing to cook down. It's probably cooked down by at least 2/3 to 3/4. I was going to say you could use chicken stock if you needed to. If you wanted to, you could use water. Whatever you have. I just like to add something that adds extra flavor. Now I'm going to add a couple of additional items at this point. One is maybe just a tablespoon or two of tomato paste. Here I have 1 chipotle pepper in adobo. Going to see if I have a little extra of the adobo to add in here. Now, it has another pepper on it. Let me chop that up. So that's probably about 1.5 of those peppers. And just continue to cook and stir. That gives it a beautiful red color. And that liquid is continuing to boil down. We're going to give this a minute more and come back with the next step. Before I forget, I'm going to add my better than bouillon. I don't have much left in this container. It's like a big, it's probably a big tablespoonful. It's my chicken broth flavor. And one more thing I want to add to give it some sweetness to counteract some of the peppers is pineapple juice. That's maybe about a 1/2 cup. So what we're doing is just stirring this, and I'll add the chicken back with all of those juices and all of that flavor. And I'm just gonna let this continue to cook down. Let those flavors come together. Because I don't want all the liquid in here in my little wontons. That'll make them really runny, and they'll probably fall apart. So that's one reason why I want to cook this down as much as I can. And then whatever I have left, I'll try to strain in a little fork, for example, before I actually put it in my little empanada / wonton. So this has cooked down quite a bit. There's still a lot of liquid in there, so I'm gonna have to be careful with that. But I wanted to give it a little taste test. And to be honest, I added a little more cumin and a little more chili powder. I'm just gonna taste the sauce. Wow. You get the pineapple and the sweetness right away, but the earthiness and the chili come in after that first sweet bite. That's really good. Ideally, I still want it to cook down a little more just because I don't want it to make everything soggy. You know what I mean? And actually, you could take this and actually put it on rice with some fresh avocado and cilantro and make a great dinner bowl. You could use mangoes in there if you wanted to. I think there are a lot of good creative things you could do with this if you wanted. One thing that I would have done if I could have would and I don't have any with me, some corn tortillas. To take one corn tortilla and chop it up, dice it up really small and put it in there and let it just dissolve into your sauce. That would give it a nice little corn flavor that is going to be one of those, oh, what's that element. Unless you're a Mexican food connoisseur and you know exactly what that is, but it would make this a little bit more, it's like a thickener basically. It would be a little bit more thick, a little bit more opaque, but it would really add a beautiful flavor to this dish. If I had any, I would have added it in. We're back. I have taken this off the stove. What I'm going to try now, oh, telephone's ringing. I'll be right back. Here I am, let's see. Does that help? I hope that light stays on. So, as I mentioned, my little wonton wrapper, I'm going to try to, well, I guess I can't make it in a semicircle. I'm going to take some of my mixture, and really only probably put a tablespoon or two, because I want it to close up completely. I'm trying to add all kinds of goodies in there. Let's leave it at that. And then you take some water and you rub it around the edge. Oh, there's another phone call. And you close it. I'll be right back. An instructional. That's all. So we have one. Hopefully we won't get called this time. So there's one. I'm going to take a little bit of my mixture. I want chicken. I want peppers. I want onion. This is so good. And this is Mr. I don't like chicken. Okay, so you never met a chicken, did you? Huh? Well, you met that kind of chicken. So I'm just putting water along the edge of half of this wonton. And really, I'm gonna close it. If it was an empanada, it would be like a semicircle.
That is fire.
We're gonna fry these and have a nice crispy little crust. And then we're gonna eat it with like a chipotle ranch. If we have the chipotle, if I have ranch. If not, we'll do it with a spicy mayo that has sriracha mayo. We'll figure it out. But there you go. That's number 2, and we'll keep working on it.
Do you have any IPAs?
Hi. Okay, we're doing our next step. Sorry. I want to do this while I can. So the empanada goes in the hot oil. You should be able to hear it sizzling. It's not a very big pan, so I may only be able to do one at a time. So the filling is cooked, so I really only have to cook this until it gets browned and crispy on top. I'm going to use these to help get it out. Maybe I can fit one more in there. Let's try. When they come out, I will put them on paper towels to drain. Ooh, it's bubbling and beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful and crispy. I'll show you how I made the ranch dressing when we're done. Yeah, my pan's not very big. She may be pushing it a little, we'll see. Or they might just stick together. Yeah. One big bi-load wonton. So when it's nice and brown on one side, we'll flip it over and we'll come back. Okay, so I have this mostly cooked. I'm gonna make the sauce, which is some ranch. Put about a 1/4 cup, and then maybe about a tablespoon of chipotle, which is chopped. That's gonna be the sauce. Ashley just took pure ranch, and we'll get her feedback when she gets a bite. Stirring it up. It should be nice and beautiful. What's the feedback?
Very, very good.
Her face tells me everything I need to know.
Ugh, that's too spicy.
You haven't even tried it.
Well, I just bit my tongue.
We'll be back. Alright, so here it is. Here's one empanada or Mexican wonton with a little chipotle ranch. And I'll take a little taste. Let's see.
Very, very good.
It's so crunchy. The chicken in the center is delicious.
Like a perfect
The chipotle
spice.
ranch is so good with it. Want to taste? Well, he's over there eating it on the side. Doesn't want a video of it. Try it one more time. Mm-hmm. Ashley and I are shaking our heads at each other.
So good.
This is a delicious meal. Gotta try it.
Ashley, how's your tongue?